I'm Angella Sharpe, and welcome to the Daily Mix. We had quite a weekend. The Missouri Valley Conference was in town. We had a lot of concerts, at least I went to a lot of concerts. Broseph, who's a local band, now they're in Nashville, who I mean to have on the show, and I'm gonna do that at one point. We're here on Friday. Lax was here on Thursday, plus Monster Jam was in town. You know, those are those giant trucks that like run over cars and stuff. I actually worked for them a couple years ago in Sunrise, Florida, so it's kind of cool to see them come back. And because I had some cool connections, they even let me sit in one of the trucks. I didn't get to drive it though. That's next time. So I hope you also enjoyed your weekend. We're gonna have a great show for you today. Now, did you hear about this? Green Legos are nothing new, but soon the Lego group will be going green. Starting this year, pieces like leaves, bushes, and trees will be made of sustainable plant-based plastic using sugarcane. This is the first step in their plan to use sustainable materials in all their products and packaging by 2030. The new Lego pieces will still look just like the conventional pieces. Lego is also working with World Wildlife Fund in its effort to be more environmentally responsible. And that's pretty cool. Every kid loves Legos. I love Legos. I have a 4-year-old nephew who has every Lego, so it's good that they're trying to move towards a greener way. And just in time for spring, Target has announced its latest design partnership, and it's one the whole family is going to love. They're joining forces with Hunter, the heritage clothing and footwear brand, to create an exclusive collection of clothing and accessories for men, women, and children. Most people know Hunter for their high-end rain boots. Stop. High-end rain boots? Like, what is that? But that's what they're known for. And the answer is yes, rain boots will still be a part of the new Target line, and yes, they will be more affordable. The line will actually feature more than 300 items and will include home and outdoor items as well. Hunter for Target will be available in select Target stores and online beginning April 14th through June 14th, or of course, while supplies last. Now, I know I've had Dan Buffa on my show before. We talked all things sports and it was great. Well, today he's coming here to school me on Oscar stuff because I know nothing about movies and he knows everything about movies. And of course, last night was the Oscars. So if you're super into movies, he's got stuff for you. But if you're like me, he's gonna help us get through the rest of today talking to our friends like me know what we're talking about. So that's coming up next. Let's get started on today's Daily Mix. That time of year again when we spring forward. That's right, daylight savings time is Sunday. The bad news is you're gonna lose an hour of sleep. But the best news is that there are gonna be longer, sunnier days ahead. I don't know about you, but I've been feeling so gloomy when it gets dark so fast. Now here's some fun facts about daylight savings time. And actually, daylight saving time is the way you're supposed to say it, but nobody says it that way. And merely more sunlight equals more sales. When Congress extended it from 6 months to 7 in 1986, the golf industry said that extra month brought in an extra $200 million in sales. That extra month was worth $100 million for the barbecue industry. On the downside, less sleep equals more accidents. On the Monday after springing forward, a study found that workplace injuries increased nearly 6%, and another study found that heart attacks surged as much as 24% on that day. So take it easy, my sleep-deprived friends, and look forward to brighter days ahead. And don't forget to move your clock ahead 1 hour this Sunday, March 11th. That's really important so you don't forget what you're doing or go to work late. Now, while most of us are excited for spring in St. Louis, spring weather can often be extreme weather. Spring and early summer are some of the most active times of the year when it comes to severe weather. That's why the National Weather Service and SEMA have declared the week March 4th through the 10th as Severe Weather Awareness Week for Missouri. The goal is that the week is to prepare citizens and save lives. You can find a ton of information to help you prepare for all types of weather on National Weather Service website. Just go to weather.gov/ms LSX/severe weather. Now, do you hate going to the gas station to refuel? Well, now there's an app for that. There's an app for everything. Yoshi, an on-demand gas and car service, has made it really easy, and it's made its way to St. Louis. Yoshi offers subscribers gas delivery, weekly refueling, free tire checkups, wiper replacements, windshield cleaning, car washes, and more. Currently, the service is only available in St. Louis City and County. No word on if they're going to extend into the Metro East or into the St. Charles County area. Yoshi is looking to hire full-time drivers to take on the service calls. To apply or to sign up for the service, visit startyoshi.com. Now, it's actually super interesting if you ask me. It's kind of like we're getting away from doing things ourselves. Like, I don't know about you, but I can replace my own windshield wiper, and I don't really mind going to the gas station, but we're moving more and more to that lazy technology way. Now, it's National Women's History Month, so we thought we'd share a few interesting facts about women in the 21st century. First of all, did you know that we outnumber men in the U.S.? As of 2016, there were 164 million females compared to 159.1 million males. We live longer too. By the time we hit 85 or older, women outnumber men 2-1, which, by the way, means, you know how men always date younger women? Really, women should date younger men, because then you guys can both die relatively close to the same age. Now, these days, when women are winning more mayor races, too, of course, St. Louis was part of that number when the historic election of Mayor Lyda Krausen. Now, just last year. Now, more women are joining the military than ever before, and there are more women who are working for themselves. That's awesome. More women are bringing home the bacon, too. As of 2016, women were the sole breadwinners in 40% of American households. How about that? I love it. It gives me such faith and hope, and yet you still sometimes can go to work and boss man might say something rude to you. It's really unheard of with this whole Time's Up movement. And speaking of that, in honor of Women's History Month, Gazelle Life TV is making its debut for the release of From Me Too to We Too. The short film is produced by Optimal Entertainment and Gazelle Media. It features St. Louis women sharing their Me Too stories with the hope that their voices can help make a difference. Let's take a look at a short clip from the film.
I'm doing this because I look strong, and there are a lot of strong women doing amazing things in the world, but I have overcome my experience, and there are a lot of women and young girls who need to know that they are not their experience.
I feel like this movement of Me Too turning into We Too is because what we've seen is that when one woman speaks, it's powerful. When a whole group of us stand up and say this is not okay, this is not what we're going to stand for, things happen, and this is powerful.
From Me Too to We Too is the first of Gazelle's Life TV storytelling series. You can learn more and view the film at gazelmelifetv.com. And are you ready for a new way to get around downtown? Downtown STL Ink is piloting a new on-demand transportation service for downtown St. Louis. Each e-cab is a 5-passenger electric vehicle designed to make getting around downtown quick and easy. The e-cabs can be hailed on the street, through an app, or by calling in a request. Rides are available Monday through Friday from 10 to 2 and 5 to 9, and Saturdays from 5 to 9 p.m. There will be 3 cabs running at any given time during the pilot period. The rides are free. That's so cool. Now, the pilot program runs through June 30th. For more information or to download the app, visit downtownstl.org/ecab. All right, now remember those 8 cheetah cubs I told you about? They were born to the St. Louis Zoo this past November. Well, they are all doing great. And they're still with their mom, Bing Hua, in their private den. And now they all have names. The zoo made the announcement on Facebook along with an adorable photo of the Bing Hua bunch and a cute little note to set that to the Brady Bunch theme song. And it's easy to remember their names, right? All you have to do is count to 8 In Swahili, yeah, because you know that. You know, moya, bili, tatu, right? It's easy. The cubs are now 3 months old and weigh between 8 and 12 pounds. They're eating meat and still nursing occasionally. The zoo says they're starting to show different personalities as they start to interact with each other and the cheetah care staff, which, by the way, cheetah care staff has to be one of the coolest jobs ever. Still no word on when they're going to make their public debut, but we will be sure to keep you updated. In the meantime, you can learn more on Facebook or at stlzoo.org. Now, a celebrity chef will soon have its presence here in St. Louis. Chef David Burke, who has appeared on Top Chef Masters and Iron Chef America, will be opening Grand Tavern by David Burke in the featured Angella Arts Hotel. The Grand Tavern will be its signature restaurant, bar, and lounge within the hotel, which is where the former Missouri Theater building once was. The front bar and lounge will offer shareable small plates and drinks, and the main dining room will have a full menu that showcases Chef Burke's contemporary takes on American classics. Both the hotel and restaurant are set to open this fall. You can check out Angella Arts Hotel on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or at AngellArtsHotel.com. Now we have super exciting news for Alton, Illinois. Last week, the Deluxe Corporation announced that the Metro East City had won its Small Business Revolution Main Street competition. What does that mean? Well, for starters, $500,000 in investments for revitalization of the city, along with 6 local businesses. They will be featured on season 3 of Small Business Revolution on Hulu this fall. Businesses within a 1.5 mile radius of downtown Alton can start applying this week to be one of the 6 chosen. Filming will be set later this spring and will continue through the summer. Check out deluxe.com/small-business-revolution for more information, which is super cool, and I'm super excited about it. So right now, we're gonna change things over. We're gonna move into our Oscar fun, right?
Oscars are always a lot of fun. So movies.
I go, okay, so Dan, all right, you've been on the show before, and we talk sports. We talked hockey, we talked baseball.
Everything.
We talked all things sports. So when I think of a sports guy, I don't necessarily think of a guy into movies. So how are you into both? Like, what got you started in Oscars?
There's a good balance. Like when movies, they go 365 all year long. There's nothing like healing a bad Cardinals loss with a good movie. I mean, like Fast and the Furious, not like a foreign language movie.
Right.
Just an escapism, watching a bunch of bald guys beat each other up. Because I'm bald, so I like bald guys. It works. But I don't know. I've always loved sports, but I've always loved movies since I was a kid. So if I had to choose, I wouldn't want to choose one, but if I had to choose one, it may be movies.
Wow.
But the sports balances it out, because sports, I mean, for one thing, it's real. If I can't be watching a bunch of make-believe, I'll never think anything's real again.
Well, speaking of this make-believe, Oscars was last night. Now, I know pre-Oscars, you made some picks.
I did.
So how did your picks end up coming out with the winners?
I did well in the bigger categories. Like, I picked The Shape of Water, which is Guillermo del Toro's. Nobody else could have made this movie about a woman falling in love with an amphibian. It's just that's the way you describe a movie. I mean, but it's great. It won a lot of awards on the circuit before, and there are little teasers about previous award shows that give more of an idea what the Oscars are going to do. But that did well. I was really good in the main categories, but when it comes to like mini animated action film, I didn't know what was going on. I made a guess.
Well, let's back up. Let's start at the very beginning. So, like, some people like me maybe aren't so savvy in the movie world, but we want to sound smart today. So, first of all, what do you think of the hosts of the Oscars?
I like Jimmy Kimmel's talk show, but he's just kind of one of those safe picks that the Academy makes. He's not going to go out there and grill the actors too much. He's not going to get too political. They did get political last night, but he didn't. He's just kind of like one of those. He's like the guy you bring to the dance to watch the kids and make sure no fights break out.
Just make sure nothing bad happens.
Like Billy Crystal used to come out and just have this great monologue, or David Letterman, or even Bob Hope back in the day. But Jimmy Kimmel, he's just kind of like a chicken sandwich. He's kind of boring, but he's not exactly bad. So
He's a chicken
he's
sandwich.
a chicken sandwich,
That's
Jimmy.
an-
Now
oh, wow.
and now I'm
He's
going to be
coming
on
for you. You know that.
next time on his show when he does meme tweets. That's going to be
That's
red.
going to be. He's going to
This
just show
guy,
your video.
Semi-regional
Hi,
guy.
Jimmy. I like you just fine.
There you go. See, we're split.
All right. Well, let's start talking about some of these movies. So you mentioned The Shape of Water.
Yes.
Okay. Now people have been arguing with you on Facebook and Twitter. I saw
Always
that.
argue with me.
Okay, they are. So, what did you think of The Shape of Water?
I liked it. I mean, going into it, again, the setup is that it takes place in Cold War era Russia. Michael Shannon plays this very bad government agent who wants to, they've captured an amphibian, this creature that they don't know what to do with. Of course, they react badly to it. And this janitor played by Sally Hawkins, she's mute. She's kind of isolated in her own little world. She falls in love with this amphibian. She wants to free him. And essentially, it's kind of like a message about people, anybody can have love, even between a creature and a human, that the melancholy version, I'm telling you, it really does. And also the movie, it likes to escape. Movies should be an escape. You shouldn't go in a movie and just be depressed, like, oh, I can go out and just pay my bills and be this sad.
Right.
But Shape of Water really does transport you to a whole new world, especially with its music and the actors. The whole cast was nominated, so it's a great movie. But if I tell you the plot, you're going to be like, oh man, fish in a human fall in love, what the heck? But you have to go
But
into
you
it.
actually
You
have
got to
to watch
trust
it.
Guillermo del Toro. He's very good.
All right, I like that. Now, the movie that I wanted to see that I have yet to see is Three Billboards.
Three Billboards you got Frances McDormand, again, another actor showcase. It's got the Missouri in the title because a director was riding through town one day and saw billboards like this, where a mother used the billboards to call out the police department because her daughter was brutally murdered. And there's been no action in a year. So she puts on a billboard, "Hey, Chief Willoughby, who is the chief of police, when are you going to catch my daughter's killer?" And Frances McDormand, who's just so good of an actress. This movie's it's dark, it's got laughs in it, but it's also very real. And Sam Rockwell also won for Best Supporting Actor. And I can tell you that you're going to start the movie hating Sam Rockwell, but by the end, you're going to like him. And I don't think that's easy to do for an actor or for a writer to go, okay, this guy is just kind of a despicable person in the first part of the movie, but then by the end, you like Sam Rockwell. And you're like, yeah, go. I hated you in the first 20 minutes.
Right, I originally didn't like you at
But
all.
Woody
but now-
Harrelson's great, and Martin McDonough, who wrote and directed it, it's fantastic. There's a lot of good movies this year, so even when something won, I wasn't mad.
Right. Now, Three Billboards was one of the ones that people were really arguing with you. I
They were,
noticed
because
on Twitter.
it's the Missouri thing. So anybody from Missouri is going to go, well, that's not very Missouri. I think that the director just kind of said it in Missouri because he
Right.
saw it in Missouri one time. But he didn't get out and talk to everybody. He just said, I'm going to make it outside Ebbing, Missouri. And this place doesn't exist. It's a fictional place. But I think it could have taken place in anywhere in the United States. It could have been Nebraska, Idaho, Utah. It's just a small town. That's the key to the whole movie.
I like that. Now,
Yeah.
in addition to that, what other movies kind of...
I was a big fan of The Post because anytime you get Meryl Streep
The Post,
and Tom
right.
Hanks and Steven Spielberg together, it's great. But that
Now, that's three very
It's
powerhouses,
great,
and one
yeah.
would assume a lot of egos.
You have and really, with Tom Hanks and Streep, they actually wanted to do the movie. It's a very timely movie, and the impressive thing about The Post was that Spielberg made it in less than a year, and for that to happen in a big budget movie, because he knew with Donald Trump and everything, it was a very timely thing. It's about the Pentagon Papers. The Washington Post printed the Pentagon Papers, essentially exposing the government for lying to the public about Vietnam. And so Richard Nixon just hated this. So it's a big part of the history. And also Meryl Streep's Katharine Graham. She was a big, monumental female figure in this movie who stood up to the government, which is not easy to do. The New York Times, they stood down. The Washington Post stood up. So it was a big deal. But I think the movie was a little bit too journalism-esque to be loved,
Right.
especially going against Shape of Water, where you got fishes falling in love with humans. It's just, sorry, Steven.
That makes it a little bit
It's like,
different
we
when you
got
got
this Cold War sex romance going on, then we have this papers, whatever.
Do you think you had to be kind of into the journalism thing to really?
I love it. I mean,
Okay,
Spotlight.
but you write.
I
and
do.
You like that kind of thing.
And Spotlight kind of got a lot of attention. It was the same kind of, when they exposed the church a couple years ago in that movie, and this was kind of the same thing. I think it was maybe a little bit too on the nose, for people to really love it as much. It got great reviews, but again, a very strong year in movies. So seeing it getting forgotten wasn't really surprising.
Wasn't a big surprise, you know. We also had The Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour, Winston. If you even know anything about Winston Churchill, Gary Oldman's going to teach you how to love him again, because he put on all this makeup. It won for makeup, by the way, too. Very deserved. But I knew everybody knows who Winston Churchill is.
Right.
But you didn't know exactly what happened in the war room during World War II. But what he did was very instrumental in the beginning of that World War II, and it was very great. But again, this movie takes you behind the scenes, and Gary Oldman, who we all know and love, just looks unrecognizable as Winston Churchill. Covered by makeup, yelling at people. He was a very funny guy, but nobody could trust him, because he was basically made the prime minister, and oh no, not Winston Churchill. But I went into this movie not knowing a lot of details about Winston Churchill. I came out blown away. So he was the guy that absolutely had to win on Sunday. So he won, and that was great.
You ranted and raved about how much
I
you
did.
love this on
and it's
Facebook and Twitter.
I'm a big Gary Oldman fan. He can play me one day if he wants. But I wasn't oh, it's Gary Oldman. But it was just because he just turned himself into Winston Churchill, which nobody can really do that easily without knowing, it's Gary Oldman with a bunch of makeup on. Like Leonardo DiCaprio played J. Edgar Hoover. But you're okay, Leo, you can take the prosthetic nose off. We know it's you.
We know it's you, right.
It's not easy. Gary Oldman got lost in Winston Churchill. It wasn't easy.
That is pretty impressive. Now, we're running out of time, but before we let you go, the last time you were on the show, the Cardinals sent an extension out.
We did.
Today they did it too, and I know we were going to talk all things Oscars, but I couldn't help it. We're going to go to sports for a minute.
Movies get boring.
So, DeYoung, what do you think of that extension?
Paul DeYoung, he's 24 years old. This is the largest contract to ever be given to a player with less than 1 year of experience. So he comes up in May last year. On 108 games, he hits 25 home runs. He hits well. He holds up well. He hit well in September. Usually when rookies come up, they get exposed over the summer. So DeYoung, I like the deal. It's a $4.3 million average annual value. For a shortstop, it's very cheap. So even if it didn't work out, you can move him like they did with Stephen Piscotty and also with Alan Craig. And they got good returns. Colton Wong, they signed to a big contract when he was young, Matt Carpenter. This is just what the Cardinals do. They always do this before the season. They sign a promising young ball player. But with Paul DeYoung, he's legit. He can play short.
He started super great.
He
last
did,
season.
and he hits for power. He plays an important position. I think it's a good deal, but Cardinals Twitter is going to find something to complain about, and that will be the Paul DeYoung contract.
That's what it's going to be. Well, as sports fans, we like to complain about something. So if you like to complain, you can complain directly to Dan.
And I will respond.
So where can we find you, Dan?
At Buffa82 on Twitter. I write for KSTK Sports, KSTK News, and St. Louis Game Time. I'm everywhere and all the time.
Everywhere, all the time, which is what I love. Baseball, hockey, and
everything.
Movies.
Coffee consumption.
Anything you want. Definitely check out Dan. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, you can drop us a line right here at the Daily Mix at stltv.net. I want to hear from you. Now that's going to do it for the Daily Mix, but keep it right here on STL TV and experience St. Louis.